Welcome to week one of OTP 626. This week we're really going to primarily focus on looking over the syllabus, getting a general overview of the course, what the assignments are, what the expectations are, and then we'll also do a little bit with exploring some of the professional websites that we're going to be using later on in the course. So again, what we want to do, go over an introduction to the class and what the expectations are. We're going to look at the syllabus, discuss a few of the important aspects of the syllabus, an overview of the assignments, as I said. We're going to look at the AOTA, the American Occupational Therapy Association website, the Massachusetts Association for Occupational Therapy, and the U.S. Congress website. And we're going to be looking at those things primarily in terms of legislation that we're going to be looking at throughout this course. We're going to discuss briefly the interview groups. However, we'll do more of that during the face-to-face course. And I'm going to let you know a little bit about the first reflection that you're going to be doing for this course. So what is OTP 626? As I mentioned in the introduction before, it's a fun course, an exciting course, and I hope you feel that way as well. But what we're doing is looking at some of the issues in occupational therapy and steps that we can take to address some of the issues. One of the things we're going to be doing in here is advocacy. And advocacy is important because as an occupational therapist, you're often called upon to advocate for yourself, for your clients, for the profession. So it's important to be able to get out of your comfort zone and be able to advocate for those things that are important to the profession and to the clients that we serve. So some of the issues we're going to be looking at are, what is the role of occupational therapy practitioners in advocating for consumers? What is the community role of occupational therapy practitioners and leaders? You're going to gain some knowledge and skill in clinical reasoning. We're going to look at the effects of health and disability on individuals, families, and society. And we're going to focus on the social, economic, political, and demographic influences in healthcare and analyze how those factors influence the ability to access healthcare and be able to afford healthcare, and how health practices differ as a result of those factors. We're also going to look at reimbursement in managed care, look at different medical models, community models, and look at health promotion and wellness as well. So what do I expect from you? I expect participation, active participation and engagement. This is a combination of group and individual activities, and you have to be engaged throughout the process. I also want you, as I mentioned before, I want you to get outside of your comfort zone. Legislation and advocacy and cultural competence and some of those topics may not be areas of comfort, but they're areas that we must be able to address. When you're working in a client-centered practice, those are factors that comprise all of us as human beings. So it's important that we get out of our comfort zone and be able to address some of those issues. So first we're going to take a look at the syllabus. So as I instructed you before, the syllabus is located in the Start Here section of your course, Plato course site. So let's just take a look at a couple of things. This is a 2-credit course. It is a blended and hybrid course, as I've already described to you before. It's going to meet face-to-face every Monday from 8 to 9. I've already mentioned to you in the introduction what the course book is. You also are going to have other readings throughout this course. It's listed on the week-by-week breakout when you should be reading these journal articles. I will post these on Plato. Just a little note about curriculum text. In every syllabus that you have in this program, we have listed what we call curriculum text. Now, they're textbooks that we feel are valuable to the whole curriculum, and that you will find helpful resources. And throughout each of these courses, we may be drawing from material or asking you to use those textbooks as a reference. So these are what we consider curriculum texts used throughout the curriculum. I'm going to talk about assignments in more detail in a little bit, but you're going to have an interview to do. That's worth 10%. An advocacy letter is worth 10%. You're going to identify some legislation, 10%. We're going to do what I call the next step. You'll see that we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to do some reflections and journaling. We're going to do some on-site and online activities and discussions that you should participate in. We'll have a final exam, so just one exam in this course. And in this course and every course throughout the program, you will have 10% of your grade allocated to professionalism. And this will include, there will be a rubric provided to you. And this includes, things like being on time, accepting and incorporating feedback that you get on your assignments. It's not just getting a grade on the top of a paper. You want to use that feedback to improve performance later on. So I'll get back to the assignments in a little bit. And just to go back, take a look at what your student learning outcomes. These are what we expect that you will be able to achieve by the end of this course. So read those. You also want to read the policy on academic honesty. So familiarize yourself with that. If you are a student with a disability and you would want to request accommodations, you can do that through the Banaka Center. And the email and contact information is here. We also have a counseling center here on campus in Lammers Hall, Annex A. You can access that as a student. We have a reading and writing center for supporting students with reading and writing tasks, and the information is there. In terms of this specific course, take the time to actively evaluate how you're doing throughout the course. Pay attention to your grades. Pay attention to your performance. Use that feedback. Written assignments, 1-inch margin, 11 or 12 point font. If I give you a page limit, which I rarely do give page limits, but if you have a page limit, that doesn't mean fit it into 8-point font to be able to meet the page limit. Here's the policy on non-passing final course grades. You are going to be using APA format throughout all of your courses in this program. Your APA manual is one of the course books. Any changes to this syllabus or due dates, etc., will be made through the Plato announcement site. Review academic integrity. We are sticklers when it comes to academic integrity, so we are going to be holding you to a high standard of professionalism. Okay. Also, this is an important one. Ensure that any assignment that you submit through Plato is correctly uploaded. You are responsible for uploading it and ensuring that it's uploaded by the due date. Late work policy. Assignments are due when they're due, and if an assignment is submitted past the due date and time, you are going to lose 10 points, even if it's 5 minutes past that due date. The first 10 points is deducted, and then you're going to lose another 10 points for every 24-hour period after that. So it's really important to hand your materials in on time. Use your email. Be respectful in communications. Be respectful in your use of technology. I'm going through these quickly. I'm expecting that you're going to read these, because this really, the course syllabus is really our agreement in terms of how this course will run. If class has to be rescheduled, You'll get an announcement through the emergency notification system, which is RAVE here at the university, or an email from your instructor. I always say err on the side of safety. You know, we're all coming from different places. If it is bad where you are and class hasn't been canceled, let your instructor know. Always err on the side of safety. You are expected to be present and actively engaged throughout the courses. There are occasions where you may need to have an extension on an assignment. These need to be significant extenuating circumstances, such as an illness requiring medical services or emergency situation. We are requiring that you give 24 hours, or 12 hours notice to the instructor. We recognize that that's not always possible in the occurrence of a significant issue. However, we do request that you make every effort to let your instructor know 24 hours ahead. Okay. Just so you are aware, requesting an extension does not always mean you will receive an extension. So it's important to present to the instructor what those significant extenuating circumstances are, and the instructor will make a judgment call as to whether the extension is going to be granted. Excused absences, here's the policy. Exams, we are expecting that you will be present. Throughout this course, we are expecting that you are prepared. Come to class, both on-site and online, and any labs that you may have in any of your courses, be ready for discussion and activities based on the readings or whatever the assigned activities were. Actively participate, be engaged, ask questions, use your APA manual. Let your syllabus be your guide. If you have questions, first refer to the syllabus. Do be organized. Don't wait to the last minute. Things build in all of your courses, so it's important that you don't get behind. Study throughout the course. Cramming doesn't help with retention of information. And take advantage of your resources. Go to your faculty office hours and ask those questions. Part of the teaching process is going to your faculty office hours. And finally, here you also have this in another location on the course site, is your week-by-week description of assignments and topics. So I'm going to move on to the next topic and end the syllabus here.